In a time of national tragedy and a mass shooter with children that have been murdered, how do we have a conversation with our own children, especially if they are already anxiety prone? Hi, I'm Dr. Romie founder of the brainSHIFT Institute. We take whole person wellness programs for your brain, body, and team, working with Fortune 500 companies. And one of our beloved sectors is education. We've been receiving a lot of social media messages of Dr. Romie, how do I speak to my children? So as a brain doctor and advocate of mindfulness and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, I thought I would shoot this brief video in honor of being of service. I gathered additional guidelines for the American Academy of Pediatrics and colleagues who are specialists in trauma. And the first thing I want to say to anyone is, you know your child better than anyone and how to start a crucial conversation with them. Trust your instincts. The second step is, I always say, is gather your grace. What does that mean about gathering your grace? I just had a breakdown on national TV discussing this issue. It is really difficult right now, isn't it? And so try to the best of our abilities before we approach children of any age in our life to have this conversation, to gather our own grace, to be in touch with our feelings and come back to a place of equanimity or neutral as much as possible. And if you are feeling an emotion, be honest and name it to your child of, there is bad news in the world, bad person hurt innocent people. It makes me feel sad, angry. It is okay to model what expressing negative emotions are to children. Too often in adults and children, when we feel anxiety or don't know how to tap into it, it's often because we've not had the safe space or boundaries to be able to express all emotions. So those would be the first two things. Trust your intuition and gather your own grace. The third thing is, had an interesting conversation that people often divide how you're going to give advice to children, including in mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, according to their age group. But we wanted to add this extra tip is, you know your child, and children's emotional maturity is different for every family. So one, get to know your child. And two, is your child anxiety prone? Three, it may be easy for a child who is anxiety prone or who is younger in the elementary school age to say, I'm not going to bring this up at all. I want you to do an honest assessment. Is your child going to hear this news from another sibling, from social media, from their video game chat rooms, or are they going to hear it at school themselves or at extracurricular activities? Children talk. So chances are, with a 24/7 news cycle and access to YouTube and social media and video games, your child may already know about it. For younger children, it is easiest to say what happened in a one-sentence summary. Rehearse that one sentence before you give it to your children. It is okay to simplify it to say, a bad person or a bad man went and hurt innocent people, and that was wrong. So I think that is the one place to do. Please know, for children of any age, not just younger children, there's always this immediate internal reflection of, what does this mean for me? Am I safe? Can this happen to me? Right? So approach any child with these three talking points in mind. A child is going to want to know, what does this mean for me? Am I safe? And can that happen to me? Now, as children grow older towards middle school or high school or college age, conversations around creating immediate change and social justice can come in. Often letting a child speak and express themselves rather than inserting our own policy views is often helpful. Be prepared to answer a child when they ask. They certainly have me, Auntie Romie, what are you doing about this right now, right? So be prepared to say, I'd like to think about it. I'm doing the research. But most of all, remember to go back to that child's basic needs. Am I safe? Can this happen to me? And giving children of all ages examples of how they are safe in this moment, whether it's we lock the doors, we are thankful we have an alarm, we are thankful we have a roof over our head. And don't forget the most basic concept is physical touch and 3 basic words. I love you. I am here for you. I love you. I am here for you. And a hug. I end this by offering what we started in the other video is to have a compassion practice in your family. It was modeled for me growing up in childhood of my mother and father offering prayer when they heard bad news, whether it was someone they directly knew or heard about on a television. For me, and if you watch the next video, we'll talk about metta bhavana, or in a Buddhist tradition known as the loving kindness meditation of spreading compassion. Have an exercise in your family that grounds everyone back to that place of love and compassion. And with that, thank you. And if there's any additional questions, reach out on social media at drromie.com.